Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is me, Dr. Ibrahim Shinawi, welcoming you again in our last lecture in this course, Modern Drama. Now, this is lecture number 14, and as I said in this lecture, we are not going to introduce something new, but it's, as you can see, it's final revision, which is like summing up or focusing on the important things that we have already covered throughout the whole course. Of course, you cannot depend on this lecture for revising the whole course. No, I just selected some of the items, but definitely you need to go back and watch, listen to all the previous 13 lectures. Okay, now as you still remember that we started with an introduction about modern drama, and we said that after the death of Shakespeare and his contemporaries, drama in England suffered a decline for 2 centuries. Even Congreve in the 17th century and Sheridan and Goldsmith in the 18th could not restore drama to the position it held during the Elizabethan age. It was revived, however, in the last decade of the 19th century, and then there appeared dramatists who have now given it a respectable place in English literature. 2 important factors were responsible for the revival of drama in the 1890s. One was the influence of Ibsen, the great Norwegian dramatist, under which the English dramatists like Bernard Shaw claimed the right to discuss serious social and moral problems in a calm, sensible way. The second was the cynical atmosphere prevailing at that time, which allowed men like Oscar Wilde to treat the moral assumptions of the Victorian age with frivolity and make polite fun of their conventionality, prudishness, or smugness. The first factor gave rise to the comedy of ideas or purpose, while the second revived the comedy of manners or the artificial comedy. Under the influence of Ibsen, the serious drama in England from 1890 onwards ceased to deal with themes remote in time and the place. He had taught men that the real drama must deal with human emotions, with things which are near and dear to ordinary men and women. The new dramatists thus gave up the melodramatic romanticism and pseudo-classical remoteness of their predecessors and began to treat in their plays the actual English life, first of the aristocratic class, then of the middle class, and finally of the labouring class. The 2 important dramatists who took a predominant part in the revival of drama in the last decade of the 19th century were George Bernard Shaw and Oscar Wilde, both Irishmen. Shaw was the greatest practitioner of the comedy of ideas, while Wilde that of the new comedy of manners. Henrik Ibsen is considered as the father of modern realistic drama. This doesn't mean that he started his dramatic career by a representation of real-life problems. He underwent certain developments, beginning with experimental plays that were adapted to the French well-made plays of Scribe and to romantic and traditional problems. This is clearly in Lady Inger Loves Comedy and The Pretenders. Now, Bernard Shaw, as you can see, 1856 to 1950, the greatest among the modern dramatists was George Bernard Shaw. He was born and brought up in Ireland, but at the age of 20 in 1876, he left Ireland for good and went to London to make his fortune. At first, he tried his hand at the novel, but he did not get any encouragement. Then he began to take part in debates of all sorts and made his name as the greatest debater in England. Another dramatist who took an important part in the revival of drama in the later part of the 19th century was Oscar Wilde, and it was only during the last 5 years of his life that he turned his attention to writing for the stage. During his lifetime, his plays became very popular, and they were thought to represent a high mark in English drama.